All right, what's next for today? Hey, boss, how's it going? What's up? Hey, HR. I wasn't expecting to see you in today's meeting. What's up?
Hi, Victoria. So I have some news for today. To improve the company's health, we are conducting layoffs, and unfortunately, your role is being eliminated. The next steps will all be in an email for you to review.
So that wasn't really the plan? I was not expecting all of that. But here we are, 4 months later, and today I'm going to be sharing the 5 biggest lessons that I've learned from being laid off. Over the last 4 months, I'd like to say I have been killing it, that none of this has fazed me, and I've just been rocking and rolling ever since. But that is genuinely not the case. Frankly, I have struggled. I have redone this video like 4 separate times on 4 separate occasions, trying to get it right. During this period, I have struggled to create. I've been through relentless cycles of self-doubt, and I've really struggled to encapsulate my feelings in a way that I feel is the most true and genuine and the most helpful. And I want to say that's not the company's fault, that's just kind of my feelings in the aftermath of it all. It's been hard and challenging. And at first, I really wanted to act like this was no big deal and power through it, and like totally unfazed and just keep going and do the most professional, positive thing possible. Couldn't at the time, and that advice for me hasn't really been helpful, and I'd rather just be transparent. And as challenging as it has been a learning experience. And now I'm finally ready to share my positives and my learnings and my insights from this time, experience, and period. Without further ado, let's start with lesson number 1. One of the best pieces of advice that I got early on in my career was to be in the business of you. Why? Because businesses will always be looking out for the best interest of the business. And it's not personal, it's just how it works. People think that the business they work for always will have their best interest at heart. And maybe for a few of you that's true, congratulations. But for the vast majority of people, I'd wager that the business would put their best interests above yours. That's how they stay afloat. And when you and your company have the same interest and they both align for what's best for both of you, things are awesome. But when things don't align, it's arguably less awesome. The thing is, it's not the business's job to have your best interest at heart. It's yours. It's your job to be looking out for your career's next steps, looking into the skills you want to learn, having a work-life balance, all those sorts of things. And some of that is some of the business's job when it aligns and best suits them, but it's not their full-time job. That's your job. And it serves the business to help you out in a lot of those areas often, but not always. And it's not to say that doesn't align with any business's interests at all. It's just to say that it's your priority, not the business's. Even while I had this job, I am so glad that I continued to network, kept learning on and off the clock, had backups of important documents that I had signed, kept my paperwork in order, periodically kept track of my progress, achievements, and improvements. On top of that, I'm also happy that during this time, I've built my own teeny tiny brand for myself so I can still, stand on my own feet. Be in the business of you. Look out for you. None of that's to say don't do your best at work or these are heartless people. No. It is good to do your best at work. And frankly, it's in your best interest to do your best that you can 99% of the time. All I'm saying is don't rely on the company to make those steps for you. Be in the business of you. Look out for you. So during the week this all took place, my family was also putting down our dog of 17 years. My long-term partner got into a life-altering incident, and I lost my job all in 1 week. Honestly, that week doesn't even make it into my top 10 list of worst weeks of my life. Admittedly though, this week would have been 1,000% worse for me if I did not have an emergency fund and I wasn't privileged enough to continue living with my family. My emergency fund and the privilege to stay with my family within my financial means saved me. And because of that, getting laid off meant thankfully it was a bad day and has produced some bad days since, not the worst day or the worst week of my life. It didn't throw my entire life into an extreme spiral and living on the edge situation. And I'm not gonna sit here and say I know everyone's life circumstances and I know everything you've been experiencing, but if you can, please save for an emergency fund. Even if it's just $5 a paycheck going into a high yield savings, do it. Building an emergency fund can build you a buffer and buy you time and save you from financial ruin or otherwise just life ruin. I don't wish that upon anyone. And this goes for so much more than just losing your job unexpectedly. If you have a medical expense, your car breaks down, you get disabled, you become temporarily disabled, you suddenly need to partake in family caretaking, there's all sorts of things where an emergency fund could be incredibly useful. Honestly, anything can happen, and that's why having an emergency fund is really important, because emergencies can happen at any time. Honestly, the main takeaway here is this: have a fucking emergency fund. I used Ally Bank. They're linked down in my description. So during this sort of hellish week for me, one of life's big lessons kind of sunk in for me, and that's the world is out of your control. And of course, that means what you have to do is go with the flow. If you've ever been job hunting before, it couldn't be more obvious that the world is out of your control when you have to go with the flow. Because whether you're applying for jobs or working with freelance clients, most of the time things are not going to happen like on your timeline. You can't predict when timelines are going to come through, when someone's going to give you a call back, when that next round's going to happen, when something's going to hit the bank. It's kind of all out of your hands. You can want it and you can do your best, but you can't force it. And just know, when you do inevitably try to force it, it is going to be a stressful and awful feeling. Do yourself a favor and go easy on yourself. Let it go. She's very excited, and she is always ready to have fun. Whether you can keep up with her or not is the real question. This whole thing could really be all about whether or not work is supposed to be fun or not, but I think it's a lot more than that. When I had my job, I never felt guilty for taking time off to travel, to spend time with loved ones, or to simply enjoy myself. But I know a lot of people who do. Going a layer deeper than that, outside of working hours, a lot of people I know get bogged down by whatever is going on at work. And it's limiting our ability to have happiness in the moment. This can manifest in a lot of different ways, whether it be excessive venting about stress from work, letting whatever is going on there weigh down on you, or letting your mind excessively work on tasks off the clock when really we should be doing our best to be trying to be present in the moment. Even if work is good, sometimes it just can get us down. When we're doing that, we're all limiting ourselves to have joy and happiness in the moment. And life, no matter what you do for work, is often fleeting. And yes, maybe I am a little bit hyperfixated on mortality, but I truly believe that we should be trying to have as much fun as we can, as often as we can. There's this idea out there that work is work, and because it's work and your job is work, you're not supposed to be having fun at all or having enjoyment out of it. Whether or not that's true, although I suspect it's not, that shouldn't limit your capacity to have joy and fun outside of those times. Don't let work define your capacity for joy. Keep having fun anyway. Yeah. Oh, you like this thing? Yeah, it kind of looks like your toys, doesn't it? That was probably not a good idea. Losing your job isn't a mental health crisis, but like any big major life change, these things can bring along a lot of thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And a lot of the times, jobs are a huge part of our life routine, often what we center our life routine around. And when there's a disruption to that, it can create stress. And when you have a job, that sense of security and ease and routine that a job brings can make mental health an afterthought. On top of that, life just gets busy between work, family, other obligations. It can be at the end of the to-do list. It can be hard to prioritize taking care of you, let alone your mental health. It can feel even more difficult if you already struggle with mental health issues like depression, anxiety, PTSD, bipolar, all sorts of things, because you know dealing with it can be challenging. But despite all of that, it's important to take care of your mental health regardless of what's going on with work. Even if things are good, if there's a major disruption to your life overall, your family, or your work, it can really amplify any struggles you're currently dealing with, even though they might be manageable at this time. Big challenges like that can also revive old struggles and really make them heard. Regardless of whatever is happening with your friends, your family, or the work you're doing, your mental health stays with you. But the good news is that you can take care of your mental health in good times and in bad. It can even make you more resilient for when things become more challenging or difficult. Building up the tools, mindsets, and behaviors that can help you deal with your mental health and whatever situations arise makes you a more resilient and perseverant person. And you live with you forever, and this is kind of like point number 1. Take care of you in business, but take care of your mind and your mental health too. Your mind's with you always. Take care of it. If you've been laid off before and have any advice, stories, or tips to share, I'd love to read them in the comments down below. I'm sure others would love to learn from them as well, and the more we all share together, the more we all can learn together. And I'm so grateful for the professional experience I've had so far, and that's helped reinforce a lot of these lessons and build the foundations for them. With all that said, I am looking forward to what's next. If you want to hear what else is going on with me, you can subscribe to my newsletter, Creative Mess in Progress, where I'm detailing the behind the scenes of what I am currently working on here and all over the internet and in my creative world. I'm so grateful for all these lessons, and I'm so excited for all of what's next. You can go ahead and watch another one of my videos here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!